Hello, everyone. You're listening to the award-winning To Hull and Back podcast, proudly sponsored by Old Zoological Bar and Kingfisher Fish and Chips in Hull. I'm Nathaniel, and tonight I'm joined by Joe. We might have one or two other people joining us. They may or may not be late, but I didn't want to leave all the 20 of you listening at the moment waiting, because we just wanted to launch right into it and talk about that absolutely beautiful Charlie Hughes header in the last minute. For viewers, of course, you'll see that both Joe and I had the same idea to put Hughes on our little sort of bios here. So it was just an incredible moment, of course, akin to the Greaves header at Huddersfield last season, but considering that might keep us in the league or help us do that, probably a bit more important. Joe, how are you feeling tonight? Because I'm elated, to be honest.
Oh, it feels so good, doesn't it? Go to Hillsborough, get a result. I think I saw that it's the first time we've beaten both Sheffield teams away in the same season in club history.
Wow.
I mean, the game was terrible, but let's not talk about that. Ivor Pandur, honestly, I would marry that man. What a guy! What a goalie!
I married him twice. Just what a hero! Because I mean, the goalkeeper against Luton, Kaminski, I think on the app I use, he was man of the match last week. But that is just based on statistics and the amount of sort of simple saves he had to make. Whereas Pandur, yesterday, I think it was like a 9.1 rating. The saves he made, especially the one in the last minute from Iorfa, just incredible to push that around the post, and one from Windass earlier. He's, it's not that early with only 6 games left, but he's heading towards player of the season, isn't he?
Ivor, absolutely. The player of the season will be between Pandur, Zhao, and Charlie Hughes.
Yeah.
That's a fantastic comment, Alfie, by the way, for audio listeners. Alfie HCAFC on YouTube puts in, can't say I'm attracted to men, but Charlie Hughes could have my children, in all honesty.
Same.
Fair play. He is, I was saying to you, Nathaniel, before we got going, I've never seen him do this before, but I noticed in the warm-up, for about 2 or 3 minutes, Charlie Hughes, after the defenders had done their normal warm-up that they do with Andy Dawson, where he rolls the ball out and they each come out and do different things or whatever. Charlie Hughes was just stood alone with Andy Dawson. And for a good 2 minutes, Dawes was just chucking balls at him at different heights, different speeds. And Charlie Hughes was just jumping and heading them all away and heading them back towards Andy Dawson. So I think that sort of header has been coming for a while with Charlie Hughes, because you see what he does on the defensive end. It was only a matter of time, surely, before he got himself a goal. And to do it that late on in front of that away end. And, you look at the scenes at full time. Ivor Pandur kneeling straight onto his knees, just like thinking, oh my God, that was mental. And saying a little prayer. Alfie Jones running off the bench straight over to him. James Oliver Pierce diving into Charlie Hughes' arms. They are scenes that, as a footballer and as a manager and as a coach, you don't forget. And what has been, I think Baz put it perfectly on Twitter, in what has been an utterly tepid and torturous season.
Oh, terrible.
There have been, very tidily knitted through that, some fantastic moments. You're looking at games like
the away games, not the home games, but the away games.
Sheffield United away, Leeds at home, coming back from 3-1 down and getting a draw late. Plymouth and Oxford at home, both massive more recently. Even thinking back to Tim Walter, that home win against Cardiff was pretty good.
Yeah.
And that was one of the shining lights off. Yeah. The anniversary one, that is still a highlight of the season, because you had Balumi scoring 2 utterly outrageous goals. Zambrano getting his first in English football. Chris Beddier scoring a penalty. So that moment, that time the players spent with that away end at the end of the game, that will stick with them. And it's moments and games like that when we've struggled going forward and we've made hard work of it. We've had to grind out defensively a little bit in the second half, but we somehow find things from nowhere. That's how teams. That's sometimes how successful teams win games and get doing the dirty work and getting a bit of luck, a bit of good fortune. We've not had a lot of it this year. Charlie Hughes doing that was a moment of pure class. And I'm not saying that we'll be a successful team in the sense that we'll win loads of games and we'll destroy the point record and stuff like that. I'm saying be successful in our aim to stay up. And sometimes we've got to do it the hard way. And as Hull City, we always do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I wasn't on last week. Was I on last week? I can't even remember. Maybe I was. But I didn't get too down after the Luton performance. I mean, and to be fair, I know some people have said we didn't want to get bogged down in the performance because at this point in the season, who cares? Especially if it comes in that great way, scoring at the end. But West Brom, we only started playing well after Palmer and Lincoln came on. We only sort of played a little bit okay after Lincoln came on last week, and then the same with Palmer and Lincoln on for the last 10-15 minutes of this game as well. But the last three performances have actually been really poor. Despite that, of course, Luton was poor, but to beat Sheffield Wednesday and to get a point against West Brom, actually, 4 points from 3 games. If we repeat that, we will stay up. And I think the home form, we got the important wins against Oxford and Plymouth, and we could well stay up just with a few more away wins. And with Sheffield Wednesday, actually have the worst home record in the league bar us. So it was a real big opportunity. I would have taken the point. Pandur, he was great. Just makes you think where we would have been, of course, if we didn't have Allsop in goal, but don't want to focus too much on that. Yeah. I much prefer the other Ryan we had last year. Well, was he there last year? He was at Millwall.
On loan.
You know what I mean. The last calendar year. And it's been a while since we've had a goal-scoring defender, actually. I know Dawson used to get on the end of things, but scored a few in League One. But you think with Hughes and Egan and McLaughlin as well at left-back, Jones, you get on the end of a few more. It was an incredible ball from Lincoln, actually. I thought he played very well when he came on, and I'd like to see him start against Watford. Joseph had a few opportunities. He cut in once or twice, did okay. But I was talking about the lineup, actually, because last week we actually talked about, we talked about Egan playing, which happened. I think that turned out well, got a clean sheet. Slater playing, that was slightly more of a joke suggestion from us because, of course, of the Sheffield United connection there. How did you think those two former Blades players played yesterday?
John Egan didn't have a lot to do. I thought he'd have a lot more stick than he did from Hillsborough. He got nothing. And Regan Slater got nothing. Not even when he came off. Like you'd expect the Wednesday fans to, he's a boyhood Blade. You'd expect them to try and hammer him a little bit as he's coming off. But they were silent all game. And this will probably get clipped up by Sheffield Wednesday, as it always does here. But their sort of famous, loud, really sort of rowdy fan base and noise at Hillsborough just didn't exist. All they did was call Dave von Chancery a wanker and the C-bomb, tell him to get out of their club and sing Hi Ho Silver Lining. Other than that, there was nothing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thought Slater did okay. I think, again, it's not a surprise that when Alzate came on, we had a little bit more control. Not that we were like, it was free-flying football, but because we had the goal and there was a nice move which ended in the Pedro header. I'm not sure if Alzate was actually involved in that, but it was just, we had a little bit more quality when Alzate was on the pitch. But I suppose you can say that the game plan worked. We were, stodgy and dull for most of the game, and then we came alive late on, like we did at West Brom especially. Maybe that works away from home, and the home team have been sort of putting all the energy in and going to win the game at the end. We did that against Blackburn. I think it was it a second half goal against Millwall as well. So, that is definitely a tactic you can do, and we seem to know how to play when we're away from home. So, yeah, I don't really mind about the performance at all.
There's a couple of individual ones I do want to talk about. We couldn't get Zhao or Joe Gelhardt in the game.
No. Well, Gelhardt came off quite early, didn't he?
Yeah. And it surprised me. It surprised me that Gelhardt came off so early when Abu Kamara was on the right wing. And honestly, it's one of the worst individual performances I've seen from a player. And
it's a shame because he had improved a slight bit, but I think against Luton especially, he looked a little bit more like he did earlier on in the season, unfortunately.
Yeah. He had a little bit as we were briefly, and we are permanently now joined by a wild Christian.
Hi, Christian.
Hi, sorry about the late one, guys. Just got back.
That's all right.
No worries.
How is
we're just talking about Abu, and again, he had some early joy down that right hand side up against Marvin Johnson, and then he got bullied a little bit, and then decided he didn't fancy it anymore, so just didn't run. And it made such a difference when Lincoln was on that side. And because where I was in the stand, I was looking in the second half directly up our right flank with Coyle, Kamara. Sometimes had Gus drifting over there, Zhao drifting over there. Gelhardt wanted, when he was pressing the midfield, to be so much higher. It just wasn't happening. You could see him arms wide in front of the away end, appealing for some help as he was chasing down absolutely everything. But back to Abu. I think it really surprised me, like I say, that Gelhardt was brought off at that time instead of Kamara, who was so poor, and Gelhardt wasn't trialled on the wing before bringing Lincoln on. I'd have brought Lincoln on the same time that we brought Burstow on, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm happy you brought it up, Joe. I really am, because that was one of the main reasons why I wanted to come on tonight, was that kind of substitution of Gelhardt coming off and Kamara staying on at that point as well, as you say, in the game, where he was just starting to get bullied. And I can't even say it was actually, sorry, that's a bit of a lie. At that point where he's bullied, he's already been bullied, and now he had given up at that stage. And when you kind of see that out of Kamara, there's no point having him on the pitch. It is infuriating, but there's no point having him on the pitch any longer. And like you said, when Lincoln came on, completely changed the way that kind of wing play went. And Gelhardt should have easily gone out on that wing, kind of maybe to cover with Kamara coming off instead of. And it was starting to get a bit frustrating later on as in the game. I mean, I don't know how much you guys have spoken about today, but I don't think the game itself wasn't anything spectacular. I think we all can agree the game wasn't anything spectacular. And players, again, not kind of taking that snap-up opportunity. So going back to Kamara, is Kamara someone that we can rely on to the end of this season? Know that he's going to put 100% effort from 0 minutes to 90 minutes. And do I think Kamara will be a start when Balloon Miller fit? Not a chance. Not a chance. Nowhere do I on hell. And this is the one thing as well.
He's been helped by the Perry injury again, hasn't he?
Yeah, exactly. And I would say that's one of the reasons why he's had as much time as he had, is only because of the injuries. Because I don't see him a regular starter. Mainly because of how he is. It's just... Yeah, he started well. That's the thing about Kamara. Before, we used to get at him from start, straight away, because there was no effort. He just didn't look bothered. Now you can see that he is actually putting in the effort, but when things don't start going his way or pull off first time, it's like he loses his head. I mean, do we honestly feel that Kamara will be the guy for the full 90 minutes that's going to see us through?
Absolutely.
I don't. No. And it's upsetting still to this day with only, 6 games left now, gentlemen? Am I correct in that one? 6? Yeah.
Yep.
It's... I can't fight his corner with 6 games left in the season. I can't. I want to. I would love to for every Hull City player. I want to fight everybody's corner. But he's not giving me the ammunition to.
Well, I can quickly see, I'm not blaming you, Christian, I see a few comments about it as well, but, we've just beat Sheffield Wednesday, a local rival, last-minute goal. I can quickly see this podcast getting a little negative, and I understand that there are criticisms. But obviously, you want to look at the performance, but the result is the most important thing. And I mean, like one thing I see here, and it was a kind of a hairy moment. Coxey mentioning about Barry Bannon, who was not blessed with pace, outpacing Coyle. And I think someone else has said Harry Oxley, we seriously lack pace as a squad. And especially, I mean, Coyle, Egan, Hughes and McLaughlin is going to be probably the slowest defence, if not in our
You've got Hughes who can do it, but then you've got, Egan who's here for his last contract probably, or unless he goes back to Ireland. McLaughlin, who at left back, I mean, he had a difficult time at left back. And I've seen a comment about putting Cody Drama in there just because he's got a little bit more pace, which I'm not against.
Because I was thinking that half an hour into the game, the way we're going to concede is if someone gets in behind, and then we're really in trouble there.
I said to my dad at about 5 minutes when Deji Gassama got on the ball, I said, Deji Gassama, on average across this season, draws a foul about every 15 minutes.
Oh, the Jack Grealish of the Championship then.
And you say, well, up against McLaughlin, who's so much slower than him, all McLaughlin would have been able to do was hack him down, crop him down. But Sheffield Wednesday didn't utilise that, and Danny Rowe failed tactically in not exploiting Sean McLaughlin's lack of pace. In a sense, I think we did well in terms of how deep we sat in that first half especially, which meant Gassama had to go centrally to even try and get on the ball. And that nullified that threat a little bit. But in the second half especially, when we were, once we got going a little bit and we were higher up, I don't think Gassama was even on the pitch that long. And he's one of their sort of main threats. Josh Windass had a couple of chances, and I fully expected him to score against us.
Again.
But Ivor smashed it.
Yeah.
And shall we just say, look, the episode is called Best Header Ever, because let's be honest, that's what it feels like. As Baz tweeted when the goal went in, that's the greatest header I've ever seen, or something like that.
He said it was goal of the season as well, I think.
He said, quote, like a flying salmon.
Yep.
So, is that the best Hull City headed goal anyone has ever seen?
Ooh.
Because for me, there's a couple I've seen that are near it.
Yeah, well, Christian, you want to just describe it a little bit because you weren't here when we mentioned it. Were you expecting him to score from that distance?
No, never. Not in a million years. Seriously. No. Do you know what I did like about it? I'm not just saying for Hughes and his salmon-like header and his press and leaping off the air. It was the delivery. Because the delivery not only beat them to make it clear, but it was actually played with pace into the right area. And it was the first time I've actually seen the ball from a set piece of ours go into the right area.
Especially because I think Puerta kicked one straight out of play. Gelhart's in the last match were awful. I happily have Lincoln on the pitch to take set pieces for the next match.
Yeah. Well, that's it. That's one of his specialities as well as Lincoln, isn't it? His set pieces. So it's nice having someone who can actually bring that as well as into their repertoire onto the pitch. This is someone who can actually do set pieces. So I would gladly have him play 90 minutes because every time I've seen Lincoln come on, I haven't seen an issue. I haven't seen anything wrong with how he plays yet.
I think he looked better on the right because I don't think he's an out-and-out winger with like lots of pace. So having him on the right, cutting in on his left, and he played a great ball through for an earlier chance.
But you look at some of what Lincoln was doing, like he's not come in, and when we've watched him, we've not been blown away. But some of the stuff, like he came short, got the ball off Coyle and didn't have any space, and he just pops the ball on his body in between two Sheffield Wednesday players. And there we go. Yep. He's made space for himself.
Yep.
And just on the set pieces, Gustavo Puerta, corner from the right side, he's a right-footed player. The ball doesn't even go in. It goes straight out. Why did we not put a left footer on that?
Yeah.
And that's why we need someone who's decent at set pieces. And our long throws are pathetic. Stop doing these stupid long throws, because Puerta's about 5'4", and he can't throw it anywhere. You look at their long throws, they were going to the other side of the 6-yard box.
Yeah.
Ours don't even make it past the first man.
So and you could see that because when we played, I think, was it even Luton and Plymouth and Oxford have all had a long throw, and all of theirs have been better than ours. And you see in the same match, I mean, Oxford's was really good, actually. Might be the best I've seen recently. So you're quite right. I guess it's worth a try, but you need Crook's front post to flick it on. And he wasn't even on. Yeah. Yeah, Alfie. I reckon Amrabat could throw it out the MKN. He could do, but that's too good. We don't want him to do that, but the penalty spot is fine. Thank you very much. Yeah. So what other headers? So, I mean, I know there were some clips on YouTube. Renocchi's against West Ham. The Premier League was good.
West Ham was good, but for me, out of that Premier League season, you're looking at Harry Maguire's against Middlesbrough.
Yes.
Jesus.
Very similar position to the one from yesterday as well.
Yeah, the ball just came in from wider for Maguire against Middlesbrough, didn't it? And then obviously, as we said earlier, Greaves, Huddersfield, just in terms of it's similar in terms of how crucial that felt. The fact it was a ground we never go to and win, and stuff like that. And the fact for Greavesy, it was the fact it's a local boy getting his second goal of the game so late on. It wasn't a particularly great header, but it was that in the moment that felt fantastic. That whole week as a Hull City fan was fantastic because you had Rotherham, Huddersfield, and then you had Southampton.
Yeah,
all within a week of each other, and at that point it felt like we would get in the playoffs. Ashby versus Palace 2008, Elliott versus Brentford 2004.
That's the one I was thinking. Was that 2004? Was it 2003? I remember that goal. Season. Yeah, I definitely 3-4 season. Yeah, I remember that goal, and that was Do you know what, that header? Oh, Stuart Elliott's there. Take a boo, because that was beautiful.
Yeah, I think the best header I might have seen actually was against Sheffield Wednesday. Tom Eaves from 2019.
Oh, the diving header.
Yeah,
because that one was a diving header, and he directed it. He put it back to sort of where it came from. It was a really difficult one to actually sort of even get onto, whereas I think the Hughes one was really onto his sort of, onto his path. So I might actually say, best header I can think of would be.
It's not Eaves' best goal for Hull City, that though, is it? That's obviously the one where he fell over against Fulham.
No, it could be the backheel volley from outside the box that deflected off him from Bowen at Middlesbrough. I mean, you could take any Eaves goal. They're all pretty funny, aren't they? So, but of course, the one yesterday, that was properly important. I put us 3 points clear of the bottom three. I mean, Cox is saying here, 2 or 3 more wins. I think 3 more wins and we're definitely safe. 2 more puts us onto 50 points. And I think you look at how close it is down there. 50 points, you might just stay up on there, but there might be some other teams on that total. I mean, Christian, because you first, how much more confident does that performance, or not performance, sorry, the result, think, we'll stay up?
Their performance, it doesn't help.
Not at all.
Not all. The result, obviously, massively. It's just annoying when you kind of look back at the previous week and you think, what if? Because if we got a result last week and this week, like we just have, then my confidence would be a lot higher.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be anywhere near as teetering on the edge. But it's true. I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, guys. I'm still not convinced. I've got hope.
I mean, it's still tight, isn't it? It could
It's
really
still
be.
tight because the other results come in. Excellent. And I will take that result any day of the week. And I will gladly take that every game moving forward. But you do generally need a performance to get something like that. And how often this season have we played a game where we've been lucky enough to get one like this in the 94th minute and get the win? Because I can't recall one this season at all.
Don't do we?
We don't do it. And that's it. We don't do it. So, yes, brilliant. Thanks. 3 points. Thank God. But the performances, like I say, aren't filling me up with confidence still.
Well, the last two have been great. The four before that, I thought were pretty good. I mean, of course, Bristol.
Before that was looking better. Before that
international break came at the wrong time, perhaps.
Oh, it always does come at the wrong time. It always comes when we're just starting to get formed, doesn't it?
Well, any international break's bad because we've not won after one for a long time. So any of them,
I don't think 50 points is going to do it, though.
Ooh.
I actually don't think 50 points is going to do it. I don't.
I think because of the amount of teams down there, it will, because not everyone is going to get to that point.
Well, should we look at the table?
Luton, put it up there. Luton, I don't think will get to 50 because they're not going to win 4 of their last 6. I mean, well, they could, but I doubt they will.
Unlikely. The table at the moment, Plymouth are bottom. Everyone has played 40 games. So there's no games in hand, caveats or anything like that. Plymouth are bottom on 37. Luton in 23rd on 39. Cardiff on 41 inside the relegation zone on goal difference behind Derby. Their goal difference is 10 better, keeping them out. And they have had 4 wins in their last 5. Stoke in 20th on 43. We're in 19th on 44. Oxford in 18th on 45. Portsmouth in 17th on 45, and their goal difference is 1 better than Oxford's. Just for comparison, ours is 8 better than Oxford and 7 better than Portsmouth. You've got QPR on 46 points in 16th, Swansea on 48 points in 15th, and Preston on 48.
Don't read anyone else.
Because that's where
Swansea, I think, 48.
That's what I'm saying, though, with respect to, like, saying last week's result against Luton. If you want Mark Holmes to go back, like, fully, you get that result against Luton. We're above QPR, and we're in 16th.
Yeah. And you're taking 3 points off Luton as well, and they're bottom.
And you're taking 3 points, exactly.
And they'd be down.
That is and they would be down with that, realistically. And this is the thing, like, even let's put the performance aside, will Hull do a Hull City? And when I say do a Hull City, will we do a calamity back end goal?
Well, if we do a Hull City, if we do a typical Hull this season, we'll lose the home games and we'll win 2 of the away games.
2 away games,
we'll stay up on 50 points. I think 50 will be fine. I
said before the game yesterday, we need 4 more wins. We've got 1, so I think we need 3. And I think they are most likely to come Swansea, Derby, Pompey. However,
Preston are on the. Preston are always on the beach, but we might do.
That's what I was going to go
everyone at the moment.
With our last day blues, and the fact we never do well when there's any pressure on us on the last day whatsoever, I think if 3 more are to come, they're going to be Swansea, Preston, and Derby. However, if you look at these games we've got, I think getting a point out of Watford's doable. I don't think we get anything out of Coventry. But then those last 4 games are all winnable. We could very, very easily walk away.
Because they're either bad teams, or they're on the beach. So
we can walk away with 12 points out of that, and it's entirely possible.
We won't, but
we would.
But we could.
But we could. It's entirely possible that we could end up finishing 17th in this division, despite being sat at the basement of it for so long.
Yeah.
We could end up finishing. Where did we finish under in Liam Rosenior's first half season? 15th.
15th.
Yeah,
We could
oh,
finish.
We could end up.
Ever so
We
slightly
could end
below
up.
there.
Yeah, 2 places below, 1 place below, something like that. And we had 58 points that season. In this hypothetical universe, another 12 would take us to 56. Will another 12 happen? No, I think another 8 or 9 is most likely, and that still takes us to 52. So that'll do. That'll do me.
That Cox has just put there playing Watford because they're currently on bad form. He's 100% correct with that. If we look at March for them, was a draw against Stoke, a loss at home to Millwall. They beat Swansea at home, and then a loss to Oxford, though they were down to 10 men, and then a draw to Plymouth and a loss to Bristol City.
They're not great, are they, at the moment?
They're not great at the moment, no. So this is probably the best time for us to play them because they are a team that you can class as holiday mode. Yes, they can do a late push for the playoffs.
They're 6 points outside, though.
6 points outside is
it 6? No, it's 7 outside. Sorry.
All right.
If they won all their games, they could have a chance, but they're not going to.
And that's the thing.
So whole city.
I think we could be pleasantly surprised on Tuesday. It's Tuesday we're playing. Yeah.
The last 2 matches at Watford have been 0-0. Would we take that now? Oh, I would.
Yep. Happy. Yep. I'd happily walk away with a point. That'll do.
I would take a draw in every of our last 6 games. 6 points would probably still could well keep us up. So
that's your 50-point mark, isn't it? So
yeah. So that is basically the bench line. So I think a draw any match until the end of the season, I'll take. Every point is precious. I mean, we won't, but we are 3 points above Cardiff and Luton at the moment, and Plymouth. You could stay up, losing all of the next 6 games. Please God, don't do that. But it is possible. So I mean, I've seen people say, "Oh, we are going down." I'm not convinced. At the moment, at this stage of the season, if you're in the bottom 3, you are the favourites to go down, and that's it. So if we are 3 points above the relegation zone at this point, I don't know who it was who commented it earlier, saying that if we play like that in the next matches, we won't win. I mean, we did win. It doesn't really work like that, but I think at least this team have shown that they can pull off something like that. We've done it before with the away days, and I think Swansea, out of the last 6 games, they're on the beach. 100% they are. I think that is probably the most likely game we will win, definitely. Which is odd saying about an away game, but that's what we're like at the moment. I mean, if you were not that, we are betting people, or that you have to say this, but I would say Plymouth are down. At various points in the season, I've been saying a bunch of teams, they're definitely down, and then they go and win the next match. Of course, Plymouth won at the weekend. But who do we think will join them? Just not us, hopefully. That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Luton will be one of them.
Luton will or won't?
Will be one of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but they're in better form. I mean, Stoke are doing pretty well.
I think it's either Cardiff or Stoke, but I fear for Oxford a little bit.
Stoke are winning games. So the difficult thing at the moment is that Oxford have won 2 of the last 3 as well. Portsmouth, they'd won like the previous match. None of the teams in the bottom 6 or 7, up until about QPR, are playing poorly at the moment and not winning games. So it's really difficult to predict because you want to say, I guess QPR are the worst team in the bottom 8 at the moment, but they have too many points. So it's really difficult to predict.
It's so awkward, isn't it? It's so tight down here. And you asked this question on a different weekend.
You'd say us last week, wouldn't you? You'd say 1 point in joint on the bottom 3, and then now you say
a lot of people may have said us this time last weekend, but you look at midweek, you've got Derby against Burnley, that's a tough one. Stoke against Luton, Preston against Cardiff, Swansea against Plymouth, Oxford against QPR, and all of a sudden, if one of these teams wins those games, it looks totally different.
I was going to say, I'm just looking at the how Stoke have got it right now. And if I was a better man for Stoke, I mean, they've got Luton obviously on Tuesday, then Cardiff on the Saturday. So there's
at this point,
pointers.
Their results will decide who goes down, regardless if it's them or not.
The games afterwards is Sheffield Wednesday, Leeds, Sheffield United, and their last game is Derby.
Mind you, playing Leeds,
they could be down to the last.
Yeah, playing Leeds at the moment is not such a bad thing.
True that.
Preston could get a result against them on Saturday. But then even looking to Saturday, you've got Plymouth against Sheffield United, which you'd expect Sheffield United to win. But look at what happened against Oxford. Who saw that coming? Cardiff against Stoke, that's a massive game. Luton playing Blackburn. I think you'd back Luton to get a result in that. Pompey versus Derby. These are
Blackburn. I'd love to play Blackburn right now. I'd absolutely love to play them. They have literally
every week.
Then on Good Friday, when we play Swansea, it's Derby versus Luton.
Yeah, it's crazy. Obviously, 0-0 draws in all of these would be perfect for us.
Preston against QPR. Oxford will beat Leeds because that's the way things are going now.
Yeah, crazy.
There are so many big games like and sort of 6-pointers. Like Coxie said, this is very, very likely, as Alex says, to go down to the final day. And I don't want League One again, only on the basis that I can't put myself through another season of their 2 trophy games in midweek against an under-21s team. Yeah, having covered one of those games this season, Lincoln versus Bolton is possibly the worst game of football I have ever watched. The standard was so bad in front of an empty stadium. And I asked Michael Scabala, the Lincoln City manager, about how serious the fans take this competition. And he said, well, we want to go through in it. Every team that plays in it wants to go through in it because that's just the way football works. But the EFL need to make sure that teams take it seriously and promote it in a way that fans do too. And not make it such a gimmick where you get an extra point in the group stage for penalties and stuff like that. So
give them the Conference League spot. Chelsea don't want it. Teams like Man United don't want it. These big clubs, Man City, if they finish it low, they don't want it. Conference League spot. Make them go through 5 rounds of qualifying, but give it to the 2 trophy winners. I say.
What I'd do to reform that is I'd get the League One, the League Two, the National League clubs, a cup like that, easy. You've got what? 24, 48. How many teams are there in the National League?
24 as well.
Is it 24 again? There we go. You've got, what's that? 72. You've got 72 teams there. You can regionalise it for the first bit until you get to the round of 16 or the quarterfinals, because National League sides probably don't have the same sort of travel means as top-end League One clubs. Like, you've compared Birmingham to Ebbsfleet. They're not going to be able to travel the same difference.
Yeah, quite right.
So you regionalise it.
Well, maybe this is for another episode, but let's just hope we don't have to worry about it, for next year.
Yeah.
Good heavens.
I don't want to go even thinking.
Well, speaking of Championship clubs, Southampton relegated already. They're violently bad. They are. They're still on for Derby's record of 11 points. They're on 10.
I'd like to talk about this, actually, because I was having this debate with my dad earlier. We were saying, well, the Derby got 11 and Southampton with 7 games left. Surely they won't break that record.
And they'll play with freedom now, won't they? Because they're relegated.
I said to my dad, they only won't break it if they've got Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City. That's their running. And I tell you what, it's not far off. They've got
Leicester,
Villa,
though, haven't they? They've got Leicester at home, so that's the one.
They've got Aston Villa, West Ham, Fulham, Leicester, Man City, Everton, and Arsenal. That Leicester one might be the only chance, maybe against West Ham, but that might be their only chance to not break Derby's record, getting a point, or at least equal it only, getting a point against Leicester. But Leicester are also violently bad.
They are. Yeah. Yeah.
Say that, they'll both come down here and piss it because that's the way it works. It's stupid.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Yeah, I mean, you even look at Ipswich. I mean, you're pretty set on like the Premier League bottom three staying as the bottom three of relegation. I think everyone can see that now.
100%.
And with Ipswich and Leicester and Southampton, I mean, even Ipswich, they would definitely come down. And I mean, we know the players that they've got because it's half of our ex team. So we know they're going to be a big one. And I guess that's going to be a bit of a rivalry for next season, I would hope, anyway, because of that situation of the whole sit in disguise situation. So, and they get a parachute payment, exactly,
and we'll
which was my next.
For DeLap. We'll get a lot for him at least.
Leif Davis will go as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's going to be it's going to be interesting for next season. I mean, there's a lot of Hollywood happening, I guess, because you've got you've got a Hollywood club coming up.
Wrexham will definitely come out.
More than likely,
yeah. My boy.
Yeah, your boy will be back, and that assist of his was superb.
For 2 games of the season, that will be the only thing I'm talking about. I'll be on.
Wrexham have pulled clear of Wickham now as well. Wickham had a draw and a defeat in their last 2.
Yeah.
So it looks like
it's stinking it up at Wickham.
Xavi,
I think he's playing well.
Actually, Xavi against Lincoln apparently played really, really well, and everything in that game was just flowing through him, which you'd expect for him at that level. But there previously was 3 points in it with Wickham's game in hand. Now it's 6 with Wickham's game in hand.
And Wrexham are on a good run, aren't they?
Yeah, Wrexham undefeated in 5 at least that I'm seeing here. And then you've got Birmingham who need another 2 points to secure promotion. That's mental.
That's it. Yeah. Well, that is the thing now. We're at the stage of where we're now kind of shaping next season.
Yeah.
And we can tell what teams are coming down. We can pretty much tell what teams are going to come up.
It's just what league we're in.
What league? Well, that's it. The Championship doesn't know what's going on yet. That's the thing. Well, Premier League knows.
Last week they were gone.
But,
Friday night they were gone, and now they're 4 points off. They could do it.
They could do it.
Out of the teams at the bottom, they're the only one I want to stay up, and they probably won't finish above us with them being 7 points behind. I'd happily have Plymouth stay up.
I feel like what was I've forgotten what I was going to say. Ignore me. Forget that ever happened.
That's fine.
Great for a podcast, this, isn't it?
Amazing.
I don't know where I'm going.
It looks as if, I don't want to say it because, again, we are only 3 points above the bottom 3, and we could lose all of our remaining matches. We don't score many goals. It looks as if we're just taking it for granted, talking about everything else that's going on. But
we've got to do our own job.
Yeah, Rossini is now in Champions League spot with Strasbourg. They're unbeaten in 8, so good for him. But moving swiftly on, Walsall, they're top of the league, or second. They've won 2 in 17. Ever since all the loanees went back in January, they've absolutely dropped off a cliff. They've got relegation form, and they're in the automatic promotion spots. It's crazy.
They're still
clinging
on to one of the top 3 spots, and they'll go up. It'd be desperately disappointing for them, and I'd be upset for them.
Below them, Grant McCann and Billy Sharp's Doncaster Rovers are 2 points behind with a game in hand.
It's wild. Anyone from the sort of Grimsby, if they win like 5 or 6 of their games, they could go up automatically. They've still got a chance. So
Bradford top now.
Yeah, bar the Premier League with Liverpool and then the bottom 3 teams. EFL at the moment is looking pretty good, and Leeds are falling apart, which is nice. So yeah, I mean, I really hope we do beat Watford, and then we probably not relax fully, but we can start to look at, with one eye on next season.
I just hope that transfer window planning wise, they've done both the Championship and the League One contingency plan. And they're not just going into it, oh, shit, we've sacked Rossini, who's done all that planning. What are we going to do?
I think the planning, if we go down, is sign Herbie Kane, Lewis Wing, and then just walk the league with the squad. Because, players like Balumi, Melo, Matazo will all be back.
Kane. don't sign Herbie Kane. He went into Huddersfield this season overweight.
Oh dear. Well, they'll get Lewis Wing then.
Played a
Please.
bit, got injured. Played a bit more.
Just be the Reading team, wouldn't it? Sayers would just get the whole Reading
Nibs,
team.
Lewis Wing.
Harvey Nibs, yeah.
Can we still get Tyler Binden, or did he go somewhere?
Get him anyway.
He's on loan from Nottingham Forest.
Get him on loan. Get him on loan. Who cares? Get him on loan.
We're not going to need him in the Champions League, are they?
Yeah. Look, don't worry. If it goes to the final day, Abu Kamara is going to score. I'll put money on it. It's going to happen. And it's going to do the Adebayor celebration, run the length of the pitch. And that's what's going to happen. Definitely. There's no possible
Should we bring it back
way
round?
it could backfire.
Any news on Zambrano? The update on that is there currently is no update. So I'd imagine by now Oscar Zambrano knows the verdict. I'd imagine. And it's just a case of LDU Quito and Hull City putting a joint statement out confirming it, and Zambrano making some sort of public statement endorsing what his two clubs are saying.
Mm-hmm.
I hope the verdict is successful for him because I like him. Good player, nice bloke. Fabio, one of Oscar Zambrano's mates who I got talking to not so long ago. Top bloke. And yeah, I hope he sticks around, but we'll see.
Nice. So Watford on Tuesday. What changes are we making to the lineup?
None. Actually,
Whoa.
yes.
Whoa.
None?
Definitely.
No.
I was going to say.
I think you've forgotten.
Alzate comes back in for Slater.
Yes.
Kamara drops out for Lincoln.
So you're starting Joseph again?
Keep Joseph again, yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is...
He's like, yeah, there's nobody else.
Yeah. What else can we do?
That's the thing. That's the thing.
If we have Louis Barry fit, there's an easy solution.
Yeah. I put out my suggestion of Palmer playing on the left wing. Everyone on Twitter poo-pooed it, so I won't suggest that again. I mean, of course, I still think if Lincoln can do that well on the right wing, cutting on his left, I'm sure Palmer could do a job out there. And that's the thing.
I think Harry Vaughan deserves a chance.
There. He's been out for a little while, hasn't he? Not injured, but I feel like, yeah.
To be honest,
Joseph,
there is like Joe Gellart that we can easily put back out on there, and then that leaves open to Crooks. It leaves it open to Case Palmer in the middle.
Does he start Burstow over Joseph? Actually,
I think Burstow can play better than Joseph on the wing, but we've not seen it in the last few performances he's had. So, yeah, I still don't
was
think
mentioning him actually, Harry Vaughan. It's his birthday today. Happy birthday, Harry.
Happy birthday, Harry.
I feel so good.
How old is he now?
21.
He's still very young, isn't it? I thought he'd be older. It's just like he's 24 by now.
I wouldn't mind seeing Cody Dramé right mid.
Right wing?
Right mid, yeah, right wing, yeah.
No.
Nah.
Definitely. Yeah.
Over
He's got a bit of a cross on him.
I'll
Just
tell
a
you what's
few nights
happened.
now, but
You've been
desperation to get rid of Kamara. That's what
You've
it
been
is.
playing FIFA and you've come up against like Crystal Palace on career mode, and the AI managers put Aaron Wan-Bissaka at right wing over Eze.
It's happened. It's happened.
That's what's happened there. And your left back's been battered by him, so you're wanting to try something out.
That's it. Nah, I think for me, it's just I just can't get over Kamara at the moment. That second half of just giving up and having a bit of a strop almost, and just
See, for me at the moment, I think Kamara has to play simply because we don't have a winger on the other wing, and you don't want too many square pegs in round holes. But again, he is playing. We all know Kamara is playing on the wing because he's the only winger who has been fit the whole season.
Yeah,
quite right. So Hughes a striker, no. But over Pedro, no. But
I'd rather start Cynic based off Joseph's recent performance.
Well, look, Cynic will be fit soon. He'll be fit at the same time Barry will be, so he won't play. But just bring him on for a minute. If we've stayed up, against Portsmouth. Just bring him on for 5 minutes, just so he can.
No,
say
we're
he's
not a
played every year.
charity case. I know I said put Amrabat on to start the last game at Pompey at North Field, but that's reasonable charity. He's an old man, cynic. I don't care.
Yeah, Amrabat's funny. That's the whole signing is just funny, but
It's a lovely bloke nodding Amrabat. I love him.
yeah. So yeah, last thing I guess, Watford. How do we think that game will go?
I'm actually expecting a bit of a 1-0.
What, to City?
Yeah,
another sort of late one, maybe.
Yeah, a bit of a late one. Second half, bit
Tends
of
to
a
be what we
grind.
do. Yeah,
Bit of a grind.
People on later on. Yeah, fair.
That's what I'm seeing. Joe?
1-1. Uncle Zhao.
Yeah,
Uncle Zhao.
We've got 2 1-1s in the comments here as well. Well, yeah, I was thinking that we could probably get 4 points out of the next 2 games. I think the standard thing might be to say 0-0, but have we not actually had a 0-0 since 2 games into the season? Usually when it's 0-0 late on, we actually do get a goal, especially away from home. So I think I'll go 1-0 City. I'll go positive, and I will go. I'll say, Lincoln got an assist against Sheffield Wednesday. Maybe he'll score a free kick this time. I'll go Lincoln to score late on because his set pieces are pretty good. So yeah, Harry says we can't play any worse. Personally, I think that is the second worst I've ever seen us play and still win, bar when we beat Middlesbrough in the COVID sort of back end of the year we got relegated.
Which that was awful. Wow.
Which, to be fair, though we scored 2 goals and we won, I think actually is a worse performance than even Wigan in terms of, because Wigan we didn't have the ball at any point, but Middlesbrough we were kicking out play every 5 minutes, to try and pass the ball to someone. It was shocking. Pennington right back. Don't even get me started.
Pennington right back, failing to control a football at 2 separate attempts and it running out of play was generational levels of tired football.
I was going to say we've come a long way. I mean, we're still in a championship relegation battle, so we clearly haven't. But we've been a lot of places since then. Yeah, I'll go positive. We're going to stay up. We're going to get a 1-0. Lincoln's going to score a beautiful goal, and we're all going to just relax and enjoy the last few matches until we lose the next 5 and go down. So yeah, Christian, Joe, thank you very much for joining me. We'll just have one last one for the road. Hughes.
There you go.
And we'll see you next week. Thanks a lot, everyone.